There was a huge explosion at a mine in Mexico. And within 2 weeks, the mining company and the government sealed the mine with the body still in the mine.
They actually cemented it shut so that you couldn't get people out.
I stood in front of the spouses, the widows, the children, when there's a rescue effort still some 2 or 3 years later, trying to recover the bodies, and see those widows with their children and hanging on to pictures of their loved ones, wanting to bring closure to the tragedy that happened at Pasta de Concha.
The leader of the union, Napoleon Gomez, called that industrial homicide and was leading an effort to get criminal charges brought against the company and those in government that were complicit.
That created a flurry of events that ended up with the steelworkers secreting Napoleon out of Mexico.
They brought 8 different criminal charges against Napoleon. They seized the union's bank accounts. They seized his family's bank accounts. His union fought every one of those charges. Every one of those charges were dismissed with insufficient evidence, which meant they were all trumped-up charges.
Pasta de Concha was the spark that started the fight with Los Mineros. That's where Napoleon made his statement. That's what caused him to flee the country, and ultimately that's what put Juan Linares in jail, which I can tell you as well. Here was a guy that was in jail that was offered a tremendous amount of money to get out of jail, and a get out of jail free card. And he turned it down. All he had to do to get the money was to renounce his union and his leader, and the guy had the courage not to do it, and he's a hero.
This struggle has been possible because of the not only of the loyalty of our members in Mexico, but also from the international solidarity, in particular and especially from the United Steelworkers.
Women of Steel got a call to send a delegation of 14 women to Los Mineros, or in Cananea, to visit with the miners and their families to learn firsthand what was going on in the community.
It's really been effective, and the Mineros are really the only union in Mexico right now that is consistently and aggressively raising wages. Whenever we go into negotiations, we're constantly bargaining against workers in other parts of the world. I think everybody understands. When we support workers in Mexico in improving their standards, we're defending our standards.
It's a story of our commitment to ensure that a union in another country didn't get crushed, and by doing so crushing the rest of the labor movement, which would ultimately probably serve to lower the floor in our country as well, as far as what we do.
We believe that we need to create an integrated organization that will defend workers in the mining and metals industry from the southern tip of Mexico to the northern hemisphere of Canada. And we're in the process, and hopefully at this convention we will sign a document that creates an integrated organization that can defend workers and fight for workers.